Okay, so it's 4 a.m. and I had the safety timer set on these guys, and these are high capacity pouch cells, so everything timed out. So I came down here expecting to have readings, having everything cycled through, and that is not the case. That's okay, we're learning. So I've turned the timer safety setting off, and I've restarted the discharge. I've got all 4 cells going. Interestingly enough, cell 4 over here is looking pretty sad. The fuel percent, 9%, meaning there's like 9% left of the of its capacity, and I just started discharging it. And it actually was at, we started at 3.58. After it charged, it got up to about 3.8, and now it's down to 3.64, and basically, I think we got a dud. We'll see. This guy over here, cell number 2, which I'm really quite fond of, fuel is 88%. This one has like low resistance. It's just really great. And it's actually, of all 4 cells, this is the one that still has the most voltage at the moment, and they've all been discharging roughly around the same amount of time. So it's been going for 14 minutes and has discharged 297 millivolts. No, 298 watt hours. Excuse me. It's late or early, I guess. So, okay, so we're supposed to be discharging at 2 amps. We're discharging below that. I'm not sure why. Look, guys, I'm still new at this, so we'll figure it out. Okay, we'll see what comes of this.
Day 2.
We fully discharged our first cycle. I'm not going to have an opportunity to do too many cycles, unfortunately, before we leave for our road trip. So, cell number 1 is this guy over here. Started, so it's now at 3.41 volts. $5,416 watt hours, so 5.4 5,420 milliamp hours, so 5.42 amp hours. 5.42 AH at 3.41. I know you can't see this on the camera, sorry. Cell number 2, 5,249, so 5.25 amp hours at 3.57. Oh, you know what? That's still going. These are still going. Wow. Okay, so just checking in on these guys. They've been running for, well, a long time. Cell number 4 was kind of a bummer here. So this cell number 4, I don't know if that probably can't show on them. Just the guy with the scratches on him. This guy. Cell number 4 is kind of a dog. It's already ended at, it's 3 volts perfectly as the end discharge, and it's at 4.284 amp hours. This is actually 4,284 milliamp hours, but I'm just going to make it easy and just say 4.284 amp hours, and it's dead. The other 3 are still going. Cell number 1 is at 5.47 amp hours. Cell number 2, 5.2, almost 5.3 amp hours. Cell number 3 is at 5.2 amp hours, still going. Cell number 4, this I don't know, I guess it's just a bad batch. So I'm going to go ahead and recharge this guy back up and get ready to cycle it again. Cell number 4, we're going to do a fast charge. It can handle it. Cells 1, 2, and 3, still going. It looks like we might actually get pretty... I'm thinking we're going to get up to 6 amp hours for the other 3, or close to it. I could be wrong. Let's find out. Okay, we're back. So cells 1 and 3 are done. I need to write these times down. Cell 1 came in at, wow, almost 8 amp hours, 7.7. So that's awesome. Cell 1's a winner. Cell 3, I'm going to skip 2, come down to 3. Cell 3, you probably can't see it because of the glare, came in at 6.9, which is actually a lot higher than I expected it to be. Really impressed. We already talked about cell 4. It's kind of a dud. I've got it charging back up. It's been going now for 237 minutes. And it's only at 3.82, so it's going to be, excuse me, it's going to be charging for a while. Now, excuse me, cell 2 is really interesting. I'm sorry I didn't get it on camera, but I just came in here and it actually said discharge, something like discharge capacity met. Now in one of the earlier clips, or earlier in this video, if I string them together that way, I set the capacity cutoff at 8.5 amp hours, or 8500 milliamp hours. These guys are only rated for 8 amp hours. So cell 2 discharged at more than it was rated for, 8.5 amp hours before it cut off. That's huge. It's only rated for 8 amp hours. Cut off at 8500. And here's the fun part. I'm going to stop and go out of here. I'm going to go to the battery meter. It's still at 3.39 volts. And it would have gone all the way down to 3. So this guy, without the sticker, and there's no sticker on the back either, I should point out. This guy, without the sticker, is just, it's something special. It's not the, all the videos I've seen on the SPIM08HP pouch cells have had the positive, negative stickers and have really looked, well, they had the positive and the negative and then some scuff marks. This one over here has got some, where they took a Sharpie and they crossed something out. So these, dang, I'd love to get my hands on some more of those. Maybe I'll again, I'm considering ordering a couple hundred. Maybe I'll see if I can't just get more of these. This one's particularly exceptional. I'm really impressed. Okay, so to recap, cell 1, which is this guy over here, probably off camera. This guy is almost 8 amp hours. Impressed with that guy. Cell 2, blown away. Just a real trooper. Cell 3 came in at almost 7 amp hours, 6.9. And then this guy again is kind of a dud. It came in at 4.28 amp hours. That's sad. So I don't know. We'll cycle it. There's actually supposed to get better with cycling. So I've already got this guy charging back up. We'll see. So that's it for this update, and we'll keep going. Dang, really impressed with the first two. The third one's not bad.
A few moments later.
Hey, check it out. So I got tired of the mess and things not being on camera, so I got a little bit organized. Look at me, I'm learning. Hot day. Okay, so I have all 4 cells charging at 2 amps, and for each of the iMax B6AC V2, that's fun to say, for each of those, I increased the maximum discharge to 10 amp hours, mostly because cell 2 is a rock star. So I didn't actually get a correct reading on cell 2 because it discharged, excuse me, because the B6, this guy, cut it off after 8,500 milliamp hours, 8.5 amp hours, and that's, again, more than it's rated for. I know I keep talking about it. I'm actually just really stoked at how good this random cell has behaved. So anyway, so all 4 are recharging, and they're all kind of all over the place because they were at different voltages when I did the last test. So we're going to charge them back up, get them back up to 4.2, and then we'll do another discharge cycle and see how those results come in. I started putting the results on this piece of cardboard here, kind of lame. So I'm gonna get that a little bit cleaned up with some of the pictures and the screenshots that I've taken. So okay, well, update here in a bit.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
Okay, so we fully charged the batteries, discharged them, and then fully charged them again, and we're going to go through one more discharge cycle, and then we're going to charge them up for storage and leave it at that because we've got other stuff to do. So we've been doing this now over a day. Interestingly enough, cell number 1 is the one that I was really excited about. Excuse me, cell number 2. Number 2 actually discharged more than 8 amp hours according to the last, well, the only discharge cycle that it's been through so far. I was kind of expecting it to take more than 8 amp hours on reload or on recharge. In this case, it was still the one that took the most electricity going back in, 7.5 amp hours for cell number 2, the one that I'm really excited about. Cell number 1, which was also a very strong contender, took 7 amp hours, which is great. Cell number 3, cell number 3 actually took a little bit more than cell number 1, which is surprising. So cool, good. And then cell number 4, this is my dud. It charged for 2.5 hours and only took 3.6 amp hours. So let's see how these guys look when they discharge one last cycle. So let's go ahead and do that now. By the way, I reset my desk, so it's a little more clean. The Lean Six Sigma guy in me was a little irritated, so here we go. So let's go ahead and stop. We don't want to charge. We don't want to fast charge. We don't want to store. We do want to discharge. Discharge 2 amps, 3.7 volts, 1S. Start. Okay. Cells 1 and 2 are discharging. So the exact same thing over here. Stop. Over. Discharge 2 amps, 3.7. And start. We're going to do a discharge. I asked for a discharge at 2 amp hours. I'm pretty sure at no point during the first discharge did it actually go at 2 amp hours. I feel like the most I saw, and I wasn't paying close attention, and I don't have a time-lapse camera yet, but I think the most that I saw was 1.4, maybe 1.6 amps in terms of the current drawdown. These guys can take quite a bit, or it can give, I should say, quite a bit. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how this goes. So quick update. We're discharging. This is the second discharge cycle, and in theory, the second discharge cycle should result in more amp hour discharge than the first. Remember, cell number 2, for whatever reason, discharged at like 8.5, and then it timed out. So I'm really interested to see what happens now. By the way, all four, I went into the settings, I think off camera, maybe not, maybe I have a clip of that, but all four went and took the setting all the way up to 10 amp hours for the discharge limit. That's kind of a safety thing they have built in there. So anyway, we shouldn't trip that. Super excited to see what happens. Interestingly enough, cell number 1 is already at 4.09 volts. Cell number 2, which is my trooper, 4.13. Cell number 3 at 4.2. And cell number 4, the one that I've kind of given up hope on, is actually at 4.11. So cell number 4 is actually doing better at maintaining its voltage under load than cell number 1, which was a good performer. Cell number 1 is now at 4.8. And we're at about 10 seconds difference, so not enough to make much of a difference, I wouldn't expect. I'm going to take a couple hours at 1.2 amp discharge. Let's see what happens.
6.5 hours later.
So we finished our second discharge cycle, and dang, I'm impressed. I am really impressed. So cell number 1 took 5 hours to discharge, came in at 7.939 milliamp hours. That's great. Cell number 2, this is the one that I was really excited about, and I actually didn't think in the last clip I didn't think it was gonna perform as well, but boy, it really blew my socks off again. 9.147 amp hours. By the way, I think I may have said cell number 1 incorrectly. 7,939 milliamp hours, or 7.939 amp hours. That's great. That's almost exactly what it's rated at. Cell number 2, again, over 8 amp hours, which is what there's a rating for. That's great. I'm super duper impressed. I hope I get a whole bunch of these for the when I order more. Cell number 3, 7.996 amp hours. And cell number 4 is interesting. I was pretty sure it was a bad cell. The results in the prior tests were pretty, well, they were just sad. But 8.517 amp hours. Actually better than cells 1 and 3. So I guess that goes to prove you've got to cycle them. So this is it for these charge cycles. We've got to go. We're actually going to go on a quick vacation. Actually heading on a road trip to buy another 200 and some odd more of these guys. We're going to be in the area anyway. Why not save on shipping and get even more? So there's like 230 more pouch cells. Boy, this is going to be a long endeavor kind of going through and getting these already, but I'm really excited for it. I think this is going to be value added, and you know, there's something really cool about being able to take cells out of Chinese hybrid buses and putting them in a classic American car. When you think about it, Americans send, frankly, a lot of their crap, their junk, to China and let them deal with it. I think there's something really cool about the fact that China is sending their junk to the United States, at least in this case, right? These old hybrid batteries, and they're finding new use. That's quite poetic. So I have to say, all four batteries have performed. The one thing I want to do before we finish this out, I'm going to take a couple pictures real quick, so I can, while we're on the road, and if my wife gets to drive, I'll take the opportunity to go in. I'm going to have data sheets on each of these cells, which sounds kind of probably more exciting than it is. It's going to be just a sticker that I put on it instead of, you know, having marker all over it. So I'll have data sheets on each of the cells and kind of illustrate how they really bounce back after just 2 cycles. I mean, that's all it is. 2 discharge cycles, and it's pretty impressive. Before we go, I do want to. So I'm going to do stop, and I'm going to go to Lipo Storage. I just want to take them up to storage. We're going to be gone for about a week, kind of doing some business up in the New England area. So I'm going to go ahead and start these, and the idea here, they don't actually charge all the way. Lithium polymer batteries like to be charged only partially when they're stored. Probably don't have to bring them up to storage voltage. I could probably fully charge them. I'm only going to be gone a week, but you know, these guys were expensive, and I want to take good care of them. So them and their 200 and some odd other friends. So these guys over here, stop, fast charge storage, and we got them going. That's it. This has been a really fun series, and I anticipate that what I'll probably do is just to string all these clips together. Hopefully it's not super long, and what a fun experiment this has been. And there's so much more work to be done. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. You know what? I'm not really one to. I'm not sure. I think that it's appropriate to ask for likes and subscriptions. Except this is my first video. This is the beginning of a journey. So in this case, I think I will ask. You know what? Like and subscribe. And you know what? I never hit the bell. So why would I ask you to? Unless maybe that's your thing. You probably would hit it anyway if that's your thing. Okay. It is 3 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and I'm ready to go to bed. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. We're going to do some cool stuff here. JL Johnson, User47, for the Lime EV project. Hit me up on Twitter, @User47. Take care. So we've completed our last. No. Nope. Try again. No, I don't like that at all. Anyway, let's see what happens. It's going to take a couple hours at 4 point. Pardon me. Probably don't have to store them. I'm sorry. Okay. 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 What am I trying to say? Hell, I don't know. Okay, restart. This is terrible.